What's going on, YouTube? What's going on with my Patreon friends? How's everyone doing, man? How's all my friends doing? What's going on tonight? We got another Chris Brown medley. This one's the Soul Train Music Awards 2014. And man, I've been really enjoying like another perspective on like a dope vocal producer, right? Because like I listen to like lots of Bruno, I listen to lots of Beyonce on the channel, and like their animals are different. Like Anderson .Paak is just different, right? Chris Brown also different. Like the dude's just got like a certain ear where I'm sure he just hears like melody after melody, harmony after harmony. He probably sits in the studio for hours and hours and hours. Like I would be shook if he wasn't a workaholic. You know what I mean? Like just like doing layer after layer of like vocal after vocal. I think it's so cool to hear and just take all in. And then like for me, here we go on my little side tangent, and I'll keep it short. For me, seeing the live stuff and how they recreate it live is always super exciting because like everyone sings this along with whatever part of the song, but sometimes the artist changes it. Sometimes they'll change words. Sometimes they'll change where they sing it and like anticipate things differently. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. I didn't even look at the list of songs in the medley, so this is all going to be fresh. This was a Patreon request from my friend TC, and I appreciate this. I hope that your interview and everything goes well and everything comes back golden on Monday. Come on, friends. You gotta hold my friend TC in your prayers for this new gig because it sounds fantastic. Let me pull this up. You can like and subscribe here if you want to support me in this kind of breakdowns or these technical kind of reactions. Give me the thumbs up if you like this. You can check me out on Patreon as well if you want to send me your requests. Let's do this. Let's check this out. This is a little big. There we go.
Soul Train Music Awards, hosted by my girl Wendy Williams, featuring Jodeci, Tinashe Toto, Elle Varner, Faith Evans, Tank, Tamar, Yes God, Little Kim, and more.
That was a great introduction. The hair flipping all.
From a small town of Virginia called Tappahannock, population 2,000. Let's welcome a man whose name will soon be known all over the world.
And his overall skills have made him one of the most exciting young men in the game today, Mr. Chris Brown.
So that must have been like a throwback compilation, right? Because like everybody knows Chris Brown's name. And I'm not trying to get into any of the new stuff. I'm all here just for the love, man. And Chris is one of them performers. Like there's only a handful of them out there. You know what I mean? Be pretty cool to be standing on a stage of history of yourself too.
It was about 5 minutes ago when I seen the hottest chick that a youngin' never seen before. I said, yo, tell the girls I wanna meet her. On second thought, that ain't the way to go. I gotta give her game proper, spit it so she get it that she is. I gotta stop her, or should I talk about her? But what about her style? I'm out of time. She's out the door. I gotta go for mine. I think okay.
See, like Chris Brown, he sounds like he's wailing right now, man. And like what I find interesting is how people tell the story, because it's all that you always need a roller coaster, right? You need a certain amount of like build and drop so that you keep people like on the edge of their seat. You kind of keep them drawn in and stuff. And it's like he's starting this off like full send, you know, like full throw, like everything. Like he's holding the microphone so far away from him. And like to be fair, it's a quiet environment, like the band's being quiet, but he's out on this like stage as a performer by himself, as a musician by himself, right? There's not much like volume around him to interfere with him and the microphone, so he can hold it a little bit further than normal and still get the vocal right. But like I think he's wailing right now, and it's interesting to think that he's starting the medley at such a tall height, you know what I mean? And it's like it probably has a whole bunch of reasons, but it's just like usually it's like this soft, gentle build, and then maybe like a party, and then like kind of a bring down, and then you know what I mean? There's all kinds of different variations, but it's interesting to see where everyone comes from. And Chris Brown looks great, man. His dance moves, like everything looks great. It's not interfering with the vocal. He's still like, you know, keeping up the character that is Chris Brown, right? Like it's dope. The whole thing is fantastic. Right out of the gates. Next song. I dug it, man. Like he's got a real soulful full vocal. It's a very emotional vocal, and it's like very rich. I think he was wailing. Like I said, I think he was singing like real loud in that. Like First song, good to go. Let's go. Come on, Chris.
Say what your name is. Oh yeah, that girl. Tell me where you headed. Can I walk with you, girl? You got that look in your eyes that look like you here, boy, here. And I'm on it, girl. That's what I'm. See, this is the first time I had a girl whose looks set me on fire. I'm really trying to get to know you better, girl. You ain't gotta act like a shy. Cause we gon' do something is gon' get done. And we gon' get drunk and have a lot of fun.
He's going back and forth with him and like a track or like a cue or something like that, and he sounds great because like there's times where the one is so dominant or it's so reminiscent of the original that it kind of takes away from the performance. But I think this is a really good way of doing this. It's not all at the same time. Like Chris knows when the track's gonna come in. I don't know if that's like if it's a different voice or whatever, but like he's doing his part and he stops, the track comes through, he goes back to his part. Like he's obviously playing back and forward with it for a purpose, right? And I dig it. I'm trying to see what's going on with this band. I don't know if there's a drummer playing a digital drum kit or if it's like a track and they have like a percussion player, because I saw a percussion player, saw a guitar player, saw a bass player, saw a keyboard player I can see right here. So curious.
She talking that talk. She keep it on it. Try to keep it on it.
Great run. And the same thing, it's like I've talked about this a lot. It's like there's runs that people will do to try to show off, and the only people that care are other singers. And then there's runs that you do that add to the music. And Chris is obviously like such a strong vocal producer that like everything he's doing, in my opinion, adds to the scene. It's not like, hey, look at me, I'm this fantastic singer. It's, hey, I'm gonna sing for the song, right? And for the engagement of the performance, not just to show you guys that I can sing, right? Like it's dope. It's really cool to see. It's like another level of confidence, right?
Ain't no mistaking, man. You keep me on it.
Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. I dug that one. And like for being like contrast from like a song, like a fairly soulful song to like more like a club, like a banger. Dope back to back. Sounds like a strat.
Here we are, all alone in this. Oh, and girl, I know where to start and what we gonna do.
So it's I'm gonna get real nerdy here for a second. I hope there's someone out here that's gonna appreciate this. It sounds like Chris is singing quieter now, and like he's flexing his low register, and he was doing that a bit in the song before. I forgot to talk about it, but he's flexing his low register, how rich it still sounds. But it sounds like the microphone has a little bit more like a tube saturation to it. It sounds like maybe if he's singing quieter, maybe now they're pumping more through whatever the compression, whatever the vocal chain is, and you're getting more of the tube element to it, because it sounds like it has like a dirtiness or like a distortion to it, but that's not his vocal. Like it's something in the chain. And at first I thought maybe they were adding like kind of like an auto-tune, kind of like a feel. And not that Chris would need the auto-tune at all to sing. It's just like it kind of gives you that kind of like, I don't know, like it gives you a sound, right? Like the auto vocal kind of sound. But I think it's just like a saturation of the microphone, which I dig. I've been learning a lot about that lately. I think it's interesting. Listen to how rich it is.
I'll take my time, we'll be all night. So get ready, babe, 'cause I got plans for me
When he
and
get
you.
like, oh, that run caught my attention. But I don't know how to do the run, but like great riff. But like when he sings louder, when he gets into his higher register, it just sounds like a little like grittier, a little tubier. Like it's just, I don't know, I dig it. I love that. I love the processing and the fun stuff that goes into making live productions happen. You know, come on now.
So get ready, babe, 'cause I got plans for me and you.
Great riff. Come on, guitar.
Take it down and show you what I'm about. Can I take it now? Oh, up and down. So don't stop. Quit playing. Can't wait. I wanna take it down.
Whatever that like penny hammer whistle, whatever that is, that like ba 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 in that high register, it makes all the choreo just like so cool. There's something about that is just like so tough. It just makes the layers, like the thickness of it, just so thick. And like what I was excited about is this guitar player is going off with these like long held, like very well sustained notes, right? And I'm sitting here thinking like it's neat to think that a guitar player would have time to do that in something like this. And it's because you're trying to build like the root of each chord in its entirety, right? So you have instruments playing these very, very, very low 808, like synthy low rhythm, kind of like low pitched, barely pitched, like synthy sounds, right? Keyboards in the middle, and then you have this guitar wailing on top, and it's to complete all the chords, because live it's hard to translate this stuff and make it still sound tough, right? And that's why they add stuff like those keyboards in and all that shit. Like it's dope to see how they interpret it. Holy shit, this is a sign I need to stop talking. It's cool to see how they pull it off live. That's what I'm getting at. I was talking about that at the beginning of the video.
You gon' be my baby. Love me
Cool.
crazy. Tell me if you with it. Baby, come and get it. Try a new thing. And let's spark a new flame. There can be one only you are.
There is a drummer. Okay, there is a drummer.
And baby, God can never make two. And I know you came here with your crew. But I promise you that it feels like it's just us two.
So he's singing along with this track now, and it's cool. He sounds really good, right? Like, so you run into issues where, like, maybe you enunciate things, you have a certain, like, your mouth positioning a certain way one day, and the next day you don't, and you have intonation issues where the pitch is right, but it's just not quite right. You know what I mean? And he's singing along with his track, and it sounds great. Like, he's matching it very well. He's obviously not trying to pretend like he's singing the parts that he's not singing, because he's pulling the microphone away and doing the dancing and choreo and stuff. It's like, he's a professional, man. He's a professional.
Baby, oh, I don't know what you have bring to tonight. But I just wanna be the one to do you right. And we're standing here looking at each other, baby, eye to eye. And I'm hoping that you're thinking about leaving with me tonight.
Great run. And he did that run on top of the track as well. Whereas in the first one, he left it out. He let the track do it. So it's cool to see, man. He's probably feeling good. He's probably feeling confident. Yeah. Ah, man. You know, man, like, shout out to these dancers, because, like, they're pros, right? Like, this is probably what they do for work, or at least the majority of their work, right? Like kudos. But, like, shout out to Chris Brown, man, being able to, like, sing, perform, write songs like this, record and produce songs like this, and keep up with the dancing. It's just, like, it's a level of, like, professional entertainment, man, I hope to be a part of one day. One day. Cool.
Wanna reach, won't you? And you can't do nothing for it. These girls ain't loyal. Oh, these girls ain't loyal. Yeah. Just got rich. Took a broke. I can make a broke rich.
They're dropping a lot of words for the censorship, eh? Oof.
But I know your girl wanna lay with me. I took her to the play with me.
That was like that was a big like a chest like presentation, like say it with your chest type thing, man. Come on, I want to hear that again.
I took her to the bay with me. The white girl like Lady Gaga. Rolling up that Bob Marley Amarant. She wanna do it. She wanna see a brother trap. And I bet she love all around. Want you, babe. And you can't do nothing for her.
I just want to take a second and like for anyone who is or is, let's say if you're not a singer, one of the hardest things I think to do is do those hey and make them actually like sound cool. It is something I am yet to figure it out, and I have been a performer. I have performed for a long time, and I have said lots of heys real loud into lots of microphones. It's real tough to make it sound cool like that. It's real tough, man. Some people could just like got it down, just like got it figured out. And like, you know, I also like want to take a second to appreciate like, you know, the video work, right? Because like the choreo is like dope. It all looks fantastic. And like live choreo looks amazing, especially when it's like in like a nice fitting element that like touches or tops up to the song. But like the video makes it look so much cooler, doesn't it? Like, come on, man. Like panning across this big group of dancers. Like, come on.
These girls ain't loyal. These girls ain't loyal. One more time. Yeah, let me see you. I'm a lady. Now let me see you. Oh, these girls ain't loyal.
Sounds good, man. He sounds fantastic. I don't know what he's singing into, but it fits his voice real well. I dug it, man. I dug it. I thought that was a great request. I thought it was a great performance. Like I say, the roller coaster is always interesting to me because I never know where they're gonna start. I never really know where they're gonna end. And it sounded like it was like a very like a very decent handoff. Like, you know, it was like a banger. Everyone's singing along, people standing up and stuff. But like it's not overly energetic. You know, like it's. And I bet you it was cranking in there too, like all that bass and all that like low end and stuff. And like I say, like it's really neat to see how they address everything. And I'm not super familiar with all the songs themselves, but there's a lot of things that I think are clever that you do to make live performances a little cooler. Like one is like those keyboards, like those like really percussive keyboards. The other one is like letting guitars like spaz on those like really long, really sustained like high lead notes just to fill out the chord more. And like pros, man, pros. He doesn't need my affirmations. Y'all know that, but I'm here to appreciate it. I appreciate the request, my friend TC. See everyone again soon.